Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. All right, as promised, Q&A time. Thank you to all of you that have sent your questions in. I will answer every single one of them. Also, thank you to all of you that are sending me these YouTube rankings thing. I haven't seen this before. I think it's a new thing with YouTube, but I'm in a lot of your top 5 channels that you viewed in 2025. I'm number 1 with a lot of you, which is crazy. So yeah, if you haven't sent it, send it over. Tag me on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram handle up now and I'll repost it. But yeah, thank you so much. Big plans for 2026. Trust me. I've just did a Car Diaries. Check that out. I kind of go into a little bit of what those plans are. I want to keep it a secret because I really want to make sure that it gets done. No problems, no interruptions, and that we destroy 2026. I want to be, I'm going to put it out there now, I want to be the biggest boxing YouTube channel in this country. I do. I love the sport. I work in the sport. And there are so many channels that I respect and love. So many channels that are doing incredible things. Not just necessarily big channels, small channels as well. And I want to be number 1. I'm putting it out there. I want to be number 1. All right, let's do this. Let's have a look at the questions that have come in. This one from Hamza Hussein. Would love to hear your list of top 10 British fighters of all time or from 2000 onwards. Cheers and keep up the excellent work. I might do this as a video. You know, me and G-Man have been doing these top 10 videos, which you guys seem to like. You seem to interact with them. I'll give you my top 5 because I do want to do a video. And by the way, this isn't a case of what they've won or what they've achieved. This is just a case of fighters that I just loved watching and still do like watching. Prince Nassim Hamed will always be number 1. I don't know if anyone is going to oust him from that number 1 spot. Nigel Benn is number 2. Just love Nigel Benn. I think Nigel Benn was at the time when I just started really watching UK boxing. So that kind of early 90s run where I would have been 10 and just understanding the sport a little bit. And I used to look at Nigel Benn like, what the hell is this man doing? Like, crazy, man. So Naz number 1, Nigel Benn number 2, Lennox Lewis number 3. I mean, come on. Number 4. I think it was Carl Froch. Like Carl Froch. I mean, I know people like to shit on him because I don't know why people shit on him actually, because that dude fucking fought everybody. Like everyone he could fight, he fought. Like there was no ducking. Win or lose, he's fighting you. And most times he won. So Froch number 4. AJ number 5. And you're gonna have to wait for the next 5. That's my top 5. All right. This one is from Rich Bex 1. Moses versus Lawrence. What round does Moses KO him? The WBC have ordered this fight. I guess that's why this question has come in. I don't think this fight's going to happen. They can order what they want. Fighters don't have to take up those orders. I know Lawrence wants to fight. I just wonder if Queensbury and Francis Warren maybe have a different route for Moses. I'm not sure about this fight, by the way. I don't think it's as easy as that. We don't know how, I mean, we kind of do know how good Moses is, but there's still that part of me that wants to see Moses. I want to see if Moses can look as good as he's looked recently in round 7 or 8, having taken a bit of punishment. That's what I want to see. Moses would be favorite, I guess, to beat Lawrence, but ain't easy. I mean, KOing Lawrence Okoli. Good luck. I mean, Lawrence's only defeat was to Chris Billam-Smith. Like, Lawrence is very difficult to hit clean. I think you guys have seen that because of his awkward style. And he's a very big lump as well. So, won't be easy. Won't be easy, people. Jamie 73521 says, hi, gents. Which current fighter would you like to see trained by an old school trainer? That's easy, by the way. For me, it's always been Emmanuel Stewart, AJ. Like, I've always felt, like, you know, everyone's like, AJ needs to be destructive and put it on people. I've always felt that Emmanuel Stewart, would have brought that out in AJ. A bit like the way at times he was so upset with Klitschko in the corner that he would just berate Klitschko and then Klitschko would come out and knock the guy out. I just think that Kronk style of aggression would have been perfect for AJ. Like, AJ is a good boxer, but I think he's more better on the front foot, being aggressive and being just powerful and strong. And I think Emmanuel Stewart and him would have been like that. Honestly, it would have been incredible. This one, L Terrible 1985. I'll ask this again because you won't answer it. Well, why are you sending it if I won't answer it? What do you think of the Matchroom abomination in the UK? I've watched boxing since 8 years of age and can barely bring myself to watch one of these shows. They've got that bad. Have they? I mean, I think people would always sort of look on the time with Matchroom and Sky Sports and think that was the best, right? I think we like to do that though. Like sometimes I think you might need to go and watch a few of those shows and look at the matchmaking as well. Don't look at the names, look at the matchmaking. There were more bigger shows in the UK then, 100%. That's because obviously Eddie had spread himself thin by doing shows in Australia, doing shows in the US, doing shows in Mexico, whereas before it was just a full concentration on doing shows in the UK, and his stable was way bigger than Queensberry's. I think because he's focused so much on those other shows, he's almost allowed Frank to bloody sign everyone. And obviously there was no Sky Sports or now BBC at the time as well, because Eddie was Sky Sports. So there was none of those fighters over there. Like he would, 10 years ago, Eddie's probably having all the best talent. Minus a few, Frank would have had his own, but Eddie would have had the best talent and it would have been a packed roster and then the shows would have been a lot thicker. I don't think they're as bad as people say. I really don't. I think the show coming up this weekend isn't a bad show. Easy to say, right? But that's my thoughts on it. I'd love to know how old you are because I'm of the age, I'm 44. And I remember when these shows that everyone seems to harp on about were in leisure centres and half empty and horrible. And the matchmaking was horrible. I remember that. So I think people need to everyone likes to say, in my time, it was better. You might have to go and watch a few of the old tapes and remember your time because it wasn't always that great. This one is from Harrison Ian Gridge, if I said that correct. Sorry if I haven't. Rank the 4 governing bodies from most prestigious to least prestigious. Considering all the bullshit that's happened with the WBC, it's still WBC number 1. Like, there's something about the green and gold. I actually want to get a green and gold belt here. I don't know if Mauricio will give me one now, but I'm going to say WBC number 1. I'm going to say IBF number 2, WBA number 3, and WBO number 4. I think the WBO is the youngest of the governing bodies, but I think that's the fair. I think some people would have IBF above the WBC, but I still think the green and gold belt holds a lot of weight. Filthy Casual Boxing says Crawford is a real G. Man could have mixed it in any era. Yeah, there are certain fighters that I guess that's the biggest accolade and the biggest pat on the back you can give them is that they would have mixed it in any era, and Crawford would have mixed it in any of the weight classes that he was world champion, I believe, as well. Crawford is a real bad man. Like, he's an incredible fighter. Incredible. He's just got everything. Defensively, he's fantastic. He's so aggressive. I love the way in which he carries himself. I was always thinking about Crawford versus Tommy Hearns. Ooh, Jesus Christ. That would have been mad. What's this one? Oliver Pushung 1290. Hey guys, thanks for the great content. Little boxing game for you. 7 heavyweights as they are right now, and you have to assign each boxer to one blank, no repeats. Okay, the boxers he's got are Joe Joyce, Dubois, AJ, Hrgovic, Zhili Zhang, Moses Italma, and Martin Bakoli. Who would you spar? Fuck me, none of them. Who's going to hurt me the least there? Jeez. Hrgovic? Hrgovic, probably the least. The amount of pain. Who would you promote right now? It's got to be Moses Italma. Right now. No, actually, still AJ, really, isn't it? In terms of money, like, we don't know if Moses is that guy yet in terms of filling out arenas and stadiums. AJ could still fight and do that. I think we have seen it. So I'll still say AJ. Who would you fight? Fucking hell. None of them? Jeez, who can I run around the ring and hopefully I've got faster feet then? None of them? Joe Joyce? Who would you duck? Okay, who's going to hurt me here? Who's going to really hurt me? Dubois. I duck Dubois because he just doesn't seem to... Dubois doesn't seem to be the kind of person that, okay, you're winning, stop. Who would you coach? Martin Bacoli. Easy. Have I said that already? Martin Bacoli, because even me in my non-boxing brain could get him to lose weight, I believe, and get him in the gym. That's one thing I can do. Who would you bet on? Moses Italma. Who would you have a drink with? Who's left? Who's left in this? Zhang. It's quite a good game. Enjoyed that. This one is from Low Key Alex 7. What's one place in the world you've never visited, a country or a city that you're desperate to experience? Japan. I've been saying it for years. Like I've always been saying I just need to go to that side of Asia. I've only been, I guess, close to that. The closest I've been is Thailand, which I really loved. But there's something about the bright lights of Japan that keeps on calling me. I don't know. And I'm definitely going to go next year. In fact, 100%, because if Inoue fights Nakatani, I don't know what that stadium's called. Is it the Tokyo Dome? Then I'll be there. But yeah, that's been calling me for a while. Like I was going to go on a solo trip a couple of years ago to Singapore just to get over to that side of the world. But yeah, I'll definitely go next year, regardless of if there's a boxing event or not. Johnny Price 098 says, what was the most shocking underdog win you've both witnessed? Mine would always be Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas, because I'm old enough to remember it. And at the time, for me, Mike Tyson was King fucking Kong. Like, Mike Tyson was going to beat everyone. Mike Tyson was going to be the greatest heavyweight of all time. No one's going to ever be able to hang with him. And to this day, it still blows my mind. That Buster Douglas finish, yeah. I don't think people really gave Buster Douglas too much respect because he didn't go on to do much, right? Evander Holyfield beat him in the next defense. But Buster Douglas, in the lead up to that fight, wasn't no joke, you know. Yes, he had a couple of defeats, but it wasn't a joke. And the way in which he put his punches together to get rid of Mike Tyson was frightening. But yeah, that's the biggest. People compare AJ and Ruiz. Are you crazy? Do people understand what Mike Tyson was back then? Like, he was unbeatable. Like, fucking just frightening. Liam Payne Wentz Platt. These are some really weird names. Who is the best female fighter in Britain? Katie. Is that? I always get sometimes the Irish, but Katie, if that's the right answer. If that's not the right answer, Chantel Cameron. Mark Nee 4770 says, do you think Dave Allen versus Jimmy TKV for the British title is big enough to headline a big arena show, Co-op Live, O2, or the MEN? Yeah. I think people just love Dave. People love Dave, and he might have lost a little bit with that Arslanbek Makhmudov defeat, but even the way in which he was at the end, I think people just resonate to people that they just see as normal. Like, a lot of these fighters just don't seem normal when they get a bit of fame. Like, Dave Allen looks like someone you might see in the Chippy. Almost a Ricky Hatton type thing, right? So I think it could do, with a decent undercard, I think they could get 11, 12,000. Obviously, the arenas you just mentioned are 20,000, so maybe not that. But 11, 12 with a good undercard, maybe 15. But it'll do good numbers. The Running Man 6700 says, hi boys, what's your number one tip for staying in the present and avoid living on autopilot? Love the vids, by the way. This helps. Me doing the YouTube always helps because the YouTube has been the one consistent through my growth as a broadcaster. If that makes any sense. Like, it's the one thing I've always forever done, and the gym. So those have been the two consistents. The gym I've always done. I just like staying fit, and I just feel like when I'm in the gym and I kind of put on my headphones, I've almost checked out of life, if that makes any sense. And this YouTube, I love it. I love doing my YouTube. So you guys keep me grounded. Like, if I do chat shit on the videos, you guys make sure I know I've chatted shit. So yeah, that's kind of it for me. The Prodigy 112 says, before the Conor Ben rematch, did you guys think Eubank could compete with the fringe guys at 168? The guys like Belanga, Plant, etc. Considering where Plant is at his career, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight once Eubank Jr. is okay. No, I didn't think he could compete. That's why I always felt like he was in a weird space, Eubank. Maybe Belanga, maybe. I think Plant's a level above Belanga. But those guys are so big. I've been around all of them. They're massive. Eubank's not big. Eubank's weird. Eubank really is like a 164 fighter. Like, he's almost stuck in between weight classes. Like, I've been lucky enough to have been around, and I'm talking like, arm to arm, shoulder to shoulder with Caleb Plant. Enormous. Like, over 200 pounds coming down. Belanga, over 200 pounds coming down. Mungia, over 200 pounds coming down. I'm telling you guys, when I say this to people, I feel like people don't believe me. These guys are enormous. Eubank ain't that. Eubank just ain't that. So he's almost too small for them. His best bet was trying to stay healthy at 160 or get these type of fights. That's why I think he should retire, because he's too small for the 168 guys. We saw that against George Groves. Like, George Groves weren't the biggest 168 guy, and George Groves was just so much bigger than him. Like, he's not got bigger as he's got older, Eubank. It's almost like the ego makes him stay really in shape, and he's just not put on any size. Strange. Ade Gman, as someone who doesn't follow the UFC at all, this is from Eustace Norman, was Ronda Rousey good? And is she a match for Katie Taylor, or is this Mayweather-McGregor? No. Dude, this is worse than Mayweather-McGregor. Like, McGregor at the time at least was he champ, or was he champ? I can't remember if he was double champ. I don't remember this. The Mayweather fight was after Eddie Alvarez. Could have been. But what I'm trying to get at is that McGregor was at least walking into the Mayweather fight, haven't recently competed in the UFC. And also McGregor had a small background, but a background nonetheless in boxing, right? Ronda Rousey hasn't fought for nearly a decade. The last time she did fight, she got smashed in about a minute. The fight before that, she got stopped as well. And she can't box. This is... I can't even give you an example of how bad matchmaking this is. And bear in mind, look who she's fighting. She's fighting one of the greatest, if not the greatest female fighter of all time still. Not greatest and she's done, greatest and she's still very, 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 very good. Ronda Rousey doesn't have... I'm surprised this fight gets sanctioned. I'm surprised. This one, Joshua G. Watkin. I've always wanted to see Shannon Briggs fight David Haye and think it could do numbers. Do you think this would be an No. Next. I mean, it would have when they were supposed to fight. Like, David Haye, I think, put Shannon Briggs on his undercard. When David Haye had a fight against, it might have been Mark Demori on Channel 5, might have been. Or one of those, it was a random, I think it might have been Dave, the channel Dave. And Shannon Briggs obviously gate crashed the press conference, and David Haye says, I'll put you on the undercard. If you win, you fight me. I'm pretty sure Shannon Briggs was on the undercard. He won. David didn't fight him. Yeah. J World Sports News. Question. Who are your top 3 UK fighters of all time in terms of fight buzz and pure box office entertainment in and out of the ring, fighting style, fight week hype, and gave you pure box office all fight? Why? Mine are Khan, Fury, and Naz. I always forget about Amir Khan for some reason. Don't know why. I would say in terms of that, mine's would be David Haye. Now you've said it like that. David Haye, Naz, AJ. Now you've worded it like that. David Haye, I'm trying to think now. All the fights, like the Klitschko one, the Chisora one. Chisora. You know what? No, I take it back. Chisora. So who are we going to get rid of there? Sorry, I'm doing a top 4. Chisora, Haye, Naz, AJ. That's a great question. What else have we got? Mayor Adam West, 120. Who are your top 3 fighters under 25? Actually, okay, this is a good question. How old's Bam? How old's Bam? Is Bam under 25? Jesse Rodriguez. How old are you, Jesse? How old are you? I typed in Jesse Rodriguez. It bloody brought up Jessie J, the singer. Jesse Bam Rodriguez is, please be under 20. Hey, 25. Okay, you know what? I'm going to say Jesse Bam Rodriguez. How old is Virgil Ortiz? Is Virgil Ortiz under 25? Please be Virgil, 27. Okay, no. So Jesse Bam Rodriguez, Abdullah Mason, very excited about, and obviously Moses Italma. Another good question. Hi, both. This is from Thomas Wobaches. I don't know where I got Thomas there from. Timon Wobaches. Hi, both. Great show. Have either of you watched or are fans of the Harry Potter series? I have a feeling G-Man has watched that. I haven't. Zero interest. Like, none. Like, you know, I've not even watched Game of Thrones. I just don't watch stuff like that. That being said, I did watch Lord of the Rings. Don't know why. So I guess that's quite similar in that kind of genre, right? But no, I've not watched a second of Harry Potter. And I've literally watched about a minute of Game of Thrones. That bit where Thor squashes that guy's head. Does that make? Yeah. This one from Johnny Murray 0303. Soon to have a common opponent in Jake Paul. How do you think a prime for prime AJ versus Mike Tyson encounter would have played out? AJ a lot bigger than Mike. AJ's a lot bigger. I think Mike was around 15 and a half stone. AJ at his best 17 and a half, approaching 18. Would AJ have been a bit too big? Would Tyson have been a bit too ferocious? I think I'd have to edge to Mike to stop AJ. WBA Mitch says, what are your guilty pleasures, movies, song, artist, any of? You know what I started watching the other day? Kurt Russell movies. Like, I watched Escape from New York. You know, like, you forget sometimes that era of action movies, you almost forget about them. I think Kurt Russell's almost a forgotten action hero. Like, Kurt Russell in the 80s was the fucking guy. Was the guy. So I thought, let me start watching Kurt Russell movies again. Music, obviously you guys know I'm a Tupac fan, like huge Tupac fan. But I do like a bit of neo soul as well. I like a bit of everything, you know, genre wise. But my default would always be Tupac, Kendrick, 50 Cent, Nas. That's my default. Look at this one. Cam De Angelis. Who has been a bigger disappointment, Yard, Boatsi, or White? You can't say Yard's a disappointment because ultimately he tried to become a world champion and he was in there against 3 fucking Russian killers. Well, 2 Russian killers and 1 Mexican monster. Boatsi, I think my expectations for... You know, the problem is about Boatsi, is it almost my fault because my expectations were so big? That's not a Boatsi issue, is it? That's a my issue. And Dillian White, look, he had his world title shot. He was craving. Like, I never thought Dillian White was a good boxer. I always thought he was a brawler, really good brawler. But he disappointed me in that Fury fight. I don't know why I expected a bit more from him. I'm going to say Boatsi, you know, only because Yard and White have at least had the world title shots. Yes, they have failed, if you like. It's a bit strong, but they failed. Boatsi hasn't had one. And I thought Boatsi would have had one. And I thought Boatsi had everything. And I still do. I know I'm crazy. Some might say that. I still do think he has everything to become a world champion. So right now, I'm going to say Boatsi. But I don't like disappointment. I almost like, who would have I expected to have achieved more and hasn't? Let me reword it like that. Mark Nee 4770 says, with AJ having a possible 2-fight deal with Riyadh season, including the Fury fight, and a possible 150 million payday, would you want to be Jake Paul in the way of... Yeah, I'm happy you've said this because there's a lot of talk about AJ could carry Jake Paul. I'm telling you now, because of what's at stake for AJ, if he doesn't look good and get rid of this kid early, I think AJ is going to steamroll him. I genuinely believe that AJ is going to... Like they said, AJ needs to make 245 pounds. Like that was a problem. That was not a problem. AJ likes to be a bit bigger in the ring sometimes when he's fighting bigger guys. When he's fighting smaller guys, i.e. Alexander Usyk, he might come down a bit smaller. So I think they have done a big mistake by saying AJ should make 245. AJ would love to make 245 because he knows now that he's still so much bigger than Jake Paul, and I expect him to take Jake Paul's head off. Martini again, Conor Benn, WBC #1 without fighting at welterweight for 3 years. Thoughts? I mentioned this on the video the other day, and it was my dig at the WBC in this convention where it seems as though anything can happen, anything can be done. Obviously, look, it doesn't make sense, but I also understand the politics of the sport. You want the person fighting for your belt to bring as much eyeballs and money and bums on seats as possible, and Conor Benn does that. It ain't right. What can we do? Peace and love. All the questions answered.